All right, y'all. Well, the connection is out in the park where it's sketchy as F. But let's get into this energy. The readings, if you want them, the methods are in the description box. And it's donation based, but you will get what you pay for when it comes to all that. But as like I said, I was gonna be back around 7, and here we go. So question 1 is, what is let me get it one more real quick. What is this transformation that we're going through right now? Oh, shoot, what is this? Get out of there. Like, what's it all leading up to? I guess is a good question we could start with. Oh, man. What's up? Y'all been feeling sleepy, tired? Feel like sleeping? Anyway, happy birthday to all the Tauruses. As a gift, the universe made sure that Uranus is gone for good. For the last 7 years, if you've had Taurus placements, you've been catching it. You know, if you have Taurus in your chart, one of your big three, blah, 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 that placement got hit. It's now in Gemini. And Gemini can deal with that unpredictable energy. Blah, blah, blah. And now we have Scorpio, opposite of Taurus. And whenever you have these moons, I like to remind people you got to look at both signs. You got to look at the sign and that the moon is in and the opposite sign. So you have the sun and the moon facing each other. And we'll always have that every month. Because the full moon will always be the opposite sign of the whose ever birthday it is first. Just a little astrology for you. So there's always that reflection. There's always going to be that learning curve, because that's what oppositions do. They're learning curves. They learn from one another. In this case, Scorpio and Taurus learn from each other. So we're talking about grounded practical matters, and we're talking about the deep waters of and intuitive waters of Scorpio, the occult. Things are hidden, and it was so funny, man. As soon as I get off the live, this lady comes sit next to me, and she's talking about okay, so there's a bit of healing going on right here for this Scorpio full moon. Blue hand is about healing, and again, the waters, right? We were just talking about deep waters. And she was talking about her, I guess she's in a interracial relationship. The sister's down. She's a sister. And she's talking about how he's doing all this fraud and all this stuff. And I was just telling you how things are coming to the light. People are being, the masks are being taken off. And she went on this whole rant, you know, basically telling her life story to her friend. And she's sitting like 3 people over, so I could hear everything, even though I'm just sitting there trying to paint. But it's the death of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Basically, things changing. So things are changing for us all, one way or another. And it really depends on what you've been doing up to this point, and which side of karma, if you will, you're on. If you want cards, the 3 different ways you can donate are on the description part of the video. Feel free to pick whichever one, and like I said, whatever you donate, you get what you pay for there. This way, yeah, look at that, devil in reverse. And I want to clarify, so again, more new beginnings, more red, more rooted energy, especially with the devil here. That's Capricorn energy. But getting rid of that toxicity. And the story that she told, it was almost hilarious. I felt bad for her, but at the same time, it's like she chose that. You know what I'm saying? She was complaining to high hell, but she chose this person to be her whatever. And he was getting away with all kinds of fraud. The things she was talking about, like this guy, we're talking about big money fraud. You know what I mean? Charging people rent, and he don't even own the place. So, you know, like I said, it depends on which side of the scale you've been playing and how you've been conducting it. You know, if it's not been in an upright, let's say, legal way, it's getting exposed, and then there's consequences behind these choices. You feel what I'm saying? There's consequences. Now with this Pentacles here, this is taking your time. It's not going to be overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like in her case, there's like that separation is not going to be on overnight. They share a place, so there's assets to break up. You know what I'm saying? There's you got to find a new place to live, kind of thing. All that stuff is not going to be overnight. So whatever situation you find yourself, it's like if you're getting a new job, there's got to be an interview. You feel what I'm saying? There's got to be that process, and then the training and all that other shit. So it's going to be step by step from here on out. But what you're doing is eliminating the binding. Old contracts are leaving, and the subsequent karma that comes with them. Like if you're leaving the job, but you did a great job, maybe you got a bonus or a severance package or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Breaking up from a relationship, maybe somebody left and just left stuff behind. You know, just left shit. You know what I mean? So now you have stuff that you gotta sort out, but it's yours now. You know what I'm saying? All right, what else do we have? We were just talking about Uranus. Talking about Uranus leaving Taurus. This is a double Uranus card here with the King of Clubs, but this is changing the mind and the way we think. In these situations from the past and up to now, the culmination really is going to change the way we see not only ourselves but the world around us. You know what I'm saying? This change, whatever that change is for you, it's like it's put you on game. It's put you up on game. You know what I mean? If you're in relationships and you're like green, as they say, a little wet behind the ears, first time. Like if you're a little bit younger and you're watching this, yeah, you know. You got game now. You know what it's about. Like, you've learned something. This is about acquiring knowledge in whatever field or whatever area that you find this full moon hitting your chart. You know what I mean? 8th house energy. So the changes are real. And if you're going to get cards, the question you want to ask tonight is, what are these changes? Or where, if you don't know your chart, we could look at it. What else do we have here? Yeah, there. Choices again. This came out when we were in the park. And Judgment. With the King of Clubs. How about that shit? Not making a choice is making a choice. This is applying what you've learned right about now. This is more cautionary, and this feels more on the other side of the scale of people who were, you know, on some fuckery. Those choices or not making choices, you're not going to get the awakening that you need, or that's like, you know, it's like not receiving your diploma. It's like going back to summer school. this whole process up to this point and things being revealed, this is going to vindicate a lot of people. This moon that we just had, it's going to prove a lot of people innocent, and it's going to also prove a lot of people guilty. But it was an opportunity, a chance for us to make decisions up to this point that either, I don't want to say took us off our path, because whatever you're experiencing, you're meant to experience based on those choices and consequences. But it was meant to get us back in alignment with the divine, bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's not about being good or evil or anything like that. It's not about those polarities. It's more about being upright, being honest, being authentic. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to rob somebody of their shine because you don't have one, kind of shit. You know what I mean? You focus on what you got going on. And let's get some advice. Tantra, healing, and death. Look at that right there. Cultivation of energy. This is sexual energy, mind you, when we're dealing with Tantra. But cultivation of energy and the death card and healing. It's a metamorphosis, and these cards just keep coming out in different combinations, but basically all saying the same thing. Now, this is for the people who have been through it. You know what I'm saying? This is where you've been, doing your best, putting your best foot forward. It's not about being perfect, but it's like taking the steps that that were necessary for you to grow in a positive direction. You got some bumps and bruises, you know what I'm saying? You took a couple of L's along the way, you know what I mean? But you stuck to your guns here. You stuck to your guns. You stuck to the choices. If you believed in something wholeheartedly that was what you were supposed to do, and it didn't involve anybody else's influence or you having to go outside of yourself, let's say. You know what I mean? It wasn't influenced by anything other than your heart, because the heart has been at the center of all these choices, the heart and the mind. You feel what I'm saying? Now's the time for healing with the star card. And water being the element of the Scorpio. And this is all Scorpio energy. Let's just get that out of the way, especially these two cards right here. But we have these deep waters, the healing. Water holds memory. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Lash? Water holds memory. And this is, we got a Pisces in the building. So think about water. We can program water. This is a great time to program water, whether you're drinking it or you're taking a bath or you're soaking your feet. It'll help soothe those old memories. It'll help bring them to the surface, especially if you're doing like what they call shadow work, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And this is also going to help you create new memories. This is going to help you empower yourself as well. It's a cleansing time. You know what I mean? Purification. Put some baking soda up in that bath water with some lemon juice or some green alcohol, stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's a list of things you could put in there, but really the most important thing is listening to what these new guides and all this new energy is pushing you to do. Some people, maybe you put a little cinnamon in there, you put a little carbon activated charcoal in that water. That'll really pull toxins out. This is how people quit smoking, you know what I mean, with that those kind of bath waters and stuff like that, because it pulls the toxins out and it kills the cravings for like nicotine or whatever it is. Doing a fast right about now would be great, just to get all that toxin out of your system. But water is really going to be key for anything that you're doing right now. Even if you want to put water under your bed while you sleep, that's another one of those methods you can use that we've been introduced to over the years. But not only is it a transformation like a death? It's a mini death. Well, this is a little bit more major than all the other ones we've experienced. This one involves a pregnancy. If you look in this card here, this is the death card out of the Santa Muerte deck, but she's definitely awaiting something. It's a pregnancy. So life and death are intertwined. And the meaning of it transcends the Western mind of thinking. You know what I mean? The colonial or the colonized way of thinking of death as an ending. You know what I'm saying? This is more about reaping what you're sowing. She's waiting on her new life to come through. Tantra is the cultivation, and again, this is very sexual energy. So if you out there, y'all better be careful, because this will be the result around this time. We're in Taurus season 2, so we're dealing with the senses, sensuality, Venus. We're talking about silk and chocolate on the pillows, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. It's very romantic energy when we're talking about Venus. It also deals with finances. But with Tantra here, just be mindful out there. If you don't want to have nothing running around in the next 9 months, do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Do your due diligence. But also know that if you are, this is a great time for healing. This is some Marvin Gaye shit right here. Sexual healing. You know what I mean? Even having a child now with your significant, if you have a pretty good relationship with your significant other, can be healing. So there's a lot of different ways we can look at this, depending on where you're at in your own journey. And that's really a beautiful message. But this is more of cultivating energy. We're not just doing it to do it. It's really the message. There's purpose. There's meaning behind it. A lot of the ancient cultures, their intention was to create a god, basically, on earth. You know what I'm saying? Create a spiritual warrior or a being or a shaman, an artist, a musician. Like, there's intention behind all this. You know what I mean? And a lot of that comes from your experience and the healing that you've done, because all that information is going to go right up in there. You know what I'm saying? Right up in here. So let's get a little bit more, and then we'll take cards if anybody wants some. Like I said, in the description box, you'll find 3 different methods if you want to donate to the channel. And I'll pull cards for you right now. If you want a full-blown one, all you got to do is email me, and we can do that tomorrow, anytime this week, whenever, at your leisure. So let's say, what should we be focused on right now in this time of transformation and healing? What are some guiding points that we can take away from this? Besides getting some sleep. I don't know if y'all been feeling it, but like just naps. You know what I mean? Just falling asleep, like tired. The energy is intense, so it's gonna pull. And that's also partly because we're getting out of Aries season. And Aries season was like crack energetic, because Mars was in Aries, so it was just go, 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 go. You know what I mean? So now it's like all that energy is catching up. It's time to get a little bit of rest. So rest would do you a world of good, especially if you have any of these placements that we're talking about. Aries, water signs, earth signs, fire signs. And even air signs, because when we're dealing with fire, we're dealing with air, because the air is that fuel, right? So we're talking about a little bit of burnout, maybe for some of y'all. But just the energy overall has been a little thick. So let's get a little bit more of this juice before we get out of here. Okay, inkwell, more about water. And inkwell is about memory, again. 4 of Cups in reverse. And this is on top of these cards. We'll put that there like that. really healing, really healing energy here. And maybe, this is a great time for you to start journaling about your experience. Some of you might even write a book. I'm not going to hold you. Inkwell is about, you know, scribing or writing. Again, more about memory here. You know what I'm saying? Writing your thoughts down um, about the past, whatever. Patience, patience with these three of wands. Waiting for your. Everybody has their time. Every dog has their day, so they say. But everybody has their time, and this is kind of like waiting on the right time. But if you look on this closely, it also reminds you, I don't know if y'all can see it, but the words on that book right there, it says virtues. Patience being one of the virtues. And these flowers sprouting out of these skulls. And then this, again, we're talking about that release. For a lot of you, that healing process is just about over. Here's the boo-boo juice, I like to call it. Oh, what was me? Sitting in that puddle of emotional, disappointment from the past, crying over spilled milk, so to speak. Bang, bang, bang. That's part of this transformation. Learning to let go. Not only let go, but let God. This is a great time of just kind of surrendering to the flow. You can't force anything right about now. You can't force anything. So really, it's a great time for some TLC, the world card. It's all wrapping up. It's all wrapping up. And even looking at the deck, let me say, we got mosaic. This is making something out of nothing. Very practical Taurus energy. Then look, we got the star card again from Fanty's deck. And then the yellow human. From here, especially this one, and look at that, more water again, a foot in the water right there. But this is about making a connection with the divine. This is meditation time, healing time, picking the pieces up and creating something beautiful. So let's just say everything came crashing down on you somehow. You know what I mean? You lost this, you lost that, something fell apart. This is how you put it back together. And that is what the healing is. So if you need it, you seek therapy. You find somebody to talk to about your journey. You journal your journey, but you're making sense and you're creating a masterpiece. And the only way you can do that is by gathering the wisdom from the experience that you just had. It wasn't meant to break you. It wasn't meant to, it wasn't a personal thing, is what I'm saying. It wasn't the universal God chastising you. It was meant to cultivate you in such a way so that you could bring things to the surface to see who you really are. You know what I mean? Not who the world told you you're supposed to be. Alrighty? So lots of healing, patience, releasing the past. So i.e. a lot of forgiveness, not only for others, but really for yourself. Whether other people want to offer it to you or accept it from you, blah, 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 is not even the point right now. If you can give that to yourself, especially if you were one of these people who kind of made a couple of wrong choices, if you will, little setbacks right here, that's fine. Now's the time to heal from all that. It's not like you can't turn the corner, you know what I'm saying, or turn over a new leaf in your life. But again, the choice is yours. You can hold on to everything that happened. You can internalize it. You can let it poison you. Or you can take this time to let it come to the surface and, cry it out, write it out. Whatever you need to do, go get some boxing gloves. Go to one of them, those rooms where they let you break shit up, just to get it out of your system. But get it out your system. so that when you move forward, you won't have that baggage with you. You won't bring that into new relationships, new ventures in your life, and have that cloud hanging over you, fucking everything up. You know what I'm saying? Deal with it now. And it's so supported right now with this Scorpio energy and this Taurus energy to help you ground that energy out. Yeah, what have you learned? What have you learned about yourself throughout all this? What have you learned to let go of? Where's the wisdom? What's the wisdom? More water, more healing, more healing. Cycle coming to an end. So it's like you don't want to get caught in the loop. A really interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen the thing about the two Earths, like Universe A and Universe B. We're talking about frequencies. We're talking about densities. You can get caught in the old and get stuck there, kind of thing, and still coexist with people who are another density, standing right next to you. And these are people you might walk by, not even pay attention to, but it's an energetic thing now. It's an energetic thing now. You gotta let go of this. You know what I mean? The things that we could touch and feel in the physical, that stuff is so temporary. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna lose everything that's physical at some point. But at the end of the day, what you do have is your soul, your spirit. That is eternal. And that's what we're here cultivating. Just doing it in a physical way. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you can't manifest the life that you are looking for. And this is a great month for that because we're talking about Taurus energy. Taurus energy is about that life, the physical comforts of life, grounding yourself, and enjoying the pleasures of life. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't nothing like some hot fries and a like a chicken cheesesteak. You know what I'm saying? Done right. Some new perfume for you ladies, a new scent or a smell, a new dress, something to adorn yourself with that really symbolizes who you are now. You feel what I'm saying? Who you are right now. So if there's any questions in the chat, feel free to ask. If anybody would like cards, feel free to raise your hand and you can get a few cards based on your donation. If you want to donate, it's in the description. There's the PayPal, there's the Venmo, and then there's the Cash App. And we can take a look at where your transformation is happening and give you some advice on how to maneuver that. Also, for you readers out there, if you'd like to order a deck, I have more decks available. They usually mail out the next mailing day. You get a tracking number, but the decks are $50 plus the shipping. All you have to do is send your mailing address and your method of payment, and you're good to go. This is 78 of my best images in one collection, and even this has evolved. There's a lot of people who don't use this as tarot. They just use it as like conversational pieces. You know what I mean? Something that you put on your coffee table whenever you have guests over. And if you just enjoy art, especially this deck right here, because it's a bit bigger than the original deck. I do have one of the originals left, but I mostly have these oversized ones. And there's all kinds of art, different mediums. There's watercolor, there's acrylic, there's digital, there's pencil. But that's artwork spanning from 2004 to this point. The deck is about 3 years old now. So it's 70 images. And you'll get the Mayan calendar, you'll get the fairies, you'll get some destiny cards, you get the major arcana and the dark fairies, and then a little bit of the dragons, you know what I'm saying, and the unicorns. Stuff that wasn't in any deck. It was kind of channeled work that came through. But again, that's all in the description box. So I'll leave the chat open for a little while. If anybody wants to come in and get a mini reading. That a message from somebody. That's crazy. I can't even see it. Where is it? I can't even pull that out. That motherfucker is big too. But I'm going to grab it. Well, maybe not. But the transformer of the day is definitely Scorponok. He's the big one in the green. You talk about change and transformation. That is the transformer of the day. 3 more minutes and we out.